Okay, let's jump right in. We're going to unpack one of the most unbelievable stories in business today. A story that really shows how getting rejected over and over and over again can actually be the thing that leads to massive success. We're talking about the life of Jack Ma. And I mean, let's just start right here, because this says it all, doesn't it? On one side, you have getting turned down for a job at a fast food place. And on the other, you have the founder of a company that had the biggest stock market launch in history at the time. So the real question is, how? How in the world does that happen? That's what we're going to figure out. To really get who he is, we have to go way back. The story starts with this little kid born Ma Yun back in 1964 in Hangzhou, China. You have to remember, this was a time and a place where your life was kind of already planned out for you, and there just weren't a lot of opportunities. Now, what's so wild about this is that nothing here makes you think future billionaire. He didn't have any special advantages. His family wasn't rich or powerful. He wasn't some genius student. In fact, math was a huge struggle for him, and he failed his college entrance exam twice. He was the underdog from the very beginning, but he just refused to let any of that make him feel small. But then, when he's just 12, something kind of changes. He gets this crazy idea in his head that he has to learn English. So how does he do it? Every single morning for 9 years, he rides his bike to a hotel nearby just to give free tours to tourists so he can practice. Think about that. This wasn't for a class or a grade. He was just hungry for a connection to a bigger world. So let's get to the next part of his life, which honestly can be summed up in one word: rejection. And this quote, wow, it just gives you a peek into the mindset that got him through it all. He basically believed that you can't control where you start, but you are responsible for where you end up. And boy, would he need that attitude. He applied to Harvard. They said no. So he applied again and again. 10 times he applied to Harvard, and 10 times they rejected him. I mean, for most of us, that would be it. Story over. But for him, it was just getting started. After he finally managed to graduate from a local college, he applied for more than 30 different jobs. The police, hotels, you name it. The answer was always the same: no. Just try to imagine how heavy that must feel, getting told no that many times. But this story, this is the one that really hits you. KFC comes to his city. 24 people apply for a job, including him. 23 of them get hired. He was the only one they turned down. You know, he jokes about it now, but can you just imagine the humiliation of that moment? It's like all of these rejections were forging this incredible resilience inside of him. So the question is, how does the guy who couldn't even get a job at KFC become a global icon? Well, it all starts with a trip to the US and a first encounter with something that would change literally everything. This is the big turning point, where all that failure was about to meet a massive opportunity. Okay, so let's just put ourselves in his shoes for a second. It's 1995, you're a teacher from China, and your country is still pretty disconnected from the rest of the world, and you see the internet for the very first time. What do? What's the first thing you look for? His first search was something so simple: beer. And he found American beer and German beer, but there wasn't a single result from China. And right then, in that moment, this huge light bulb went off. He realized that China had millions of businesses and products that the rest of the world had no idea even existed. He saw this giant digital wall, and he wanted to be the one to tear it down. Now, it wasn't an overnight success, not even close. He went back home and started his first company, called China Pages. And it failed. But he didn't give up. He learned from it. And in 1999, he got 17 of his friends together in his tiny little apartment with this one giant vision: to build a way for small Chinese businesses to connect with the world. And just like that, Alibaba was born. So he has the vision, he has the team. But having an idea is one thing. Actually surviving in the business world is a whole other battle. And pretty soon, Alibaba was about to face its biggest challenge yet, going head-to-head with the American giant eBay for control of the entire Chinese market. And this chart just shows perfectly how David beat Goliath. See, eBay came in with their strategy that worked everywhere else: charge sellers money to list their products. But Jack Ma did the exact opposite. He made his platform, Taobao, totally free for sellers. He wasn't trying to make a quick buck. He was trying to build a community, a whole ecosystem. He built it for Chinese culture, while eBay was just using a generic one-size-fits-all model. He didn't win because he had more money. He won because he understood people better. After winning that war with eBay, Alibaba was completely dominant. And this leads us to the absolute peak of his story and what might be the most important lesson in this whole journey. So, in 2014, Alibaba went public on the New York Stock Exchange. The company raised $25 billion. At the time, it was the biggest IPO in the history of the world. The man who was rejected by KFC was now, quite literally, on top of the financial world. But look at this quote. Right after that mind-blowing success, he reminds everyone what it was always about. His success didn't come because he was some tech genius. It came because he was obsessed with his customers, with the small business owners. He never, ever forgot who he was building all of this for. So what can we actually take away from all this? Well, it really comes down to these things. An almost superhuman ability to handle rejection. A vision that was always looking years or even decades down the road. A deep, deep understanding of what people need. And maybe most of all, this incredible ability to believe in his idea so much that he could make other people believe in it too, even when the rest of the world thought he was crazy. In the end, his story is really about just believing in yourself, even in the face of so much doubt. He was told he wasn't smart enough, he wasn't qualified, he just wasn't good enough. But every single time the world said no to him, he refused to say no to himself. And his journey just leaves us with this really powerful question to think about. In a world that can be so quick to reject you, maybe this simple act of choosing yourself is the most powerful thing you can do.